What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Mat Manifesto Podcast.
It's been a month again. Again.
Yeah. Okay.
Our bad. He fucked off to England.
Yeah, like
left us.
But you know, we're back. And today we have probably the most exciting podcast.
It is. It is a all women's podcast. Well, except obviously Ben and I. Unless we need to announce something.
Yeah.
We don't. But we do have, it's an all women's podcast, and it's going to be cool. We're going to talk about all women's wrestling, whether it be Australia, America, England, Japan, why not, or anywhere else in the world. So we're going to talk about that, and then, we're going to talk about some stuff. But shall we introduce our guests, because it's going to be great, it's going to be funny.
Yeah.
So first, our first guest is, I'm very glad is an arm distance away from me, and Ben's in the middle, is the amazing and the very scary Harli Hyde.
Woo!
And right next to me on my left, which I nearly had to do the Evelyn Faye thing and check my left and right, is the very energetic Lizzie Maximus.
Woo!
And that's not gonna get old at all. And then on her left is the new. It's a trainee, obviously with Evelyn Faye, myself, and old Benjamin here, is Darcy Jade. And on the very end, who seems to be reluctantly here, because DNC told her to, is the very, very smart and very intimidating Stella Nyx. Oh, God told me to say that. Target scares me. Welcome. Everybody.
How are we all doing?
Yeah, good. Thank you for having me. I'm still waiting for my paycheck.
That's going to get awkward. Ben will need to talk to you after the show.
And we'll sort that out.
It's all about the fun, right? Am I
Yeah.
guys?
Yeah.
All about fun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah?
It's about good times and memories.
I'm not really worried. I thought she was going to flip us off then for a second. But we got some amazing things we're going to talk about. We'll do some top fives, we'll do some stuff like that, but then we'll just talk about just general wrestling and women's wrestling and just see where we go. Yeah, we're going to do that. Obviously, a shout out to Evelyn Faye, who's not here.
Yeah.
Because, Yep.
She's feeling a little bit under the weather.
Yeah, a little bit under the weather, so we're going to keep powering on, and I can hear yous talking. Hear your voice and your disgust. And then obviously, shout out to Layla Divine, who also couldn't be here. She had some commitments. She couldn't get here.
Yeah.
Unnecessary,
But
I saw it coming. Considering their history together. But anywho's, we will continue on. But let's start off with little questions.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's been a month. It's been a long time. Even though we literally, our last episode went, hey, we're not going to be a month again.
Yeah, no.
Here we are, a month again.
I know what we said last time.
What happened again?
I don't want to...
Nah, we can't guarantee those things, can we?
No. But
No.
Yeah.
Hey, I was here.
Yeah, well,
Hey,
you're always here. It's your house.
Yeah, it is. It's my house. But if anyone else, it's not my house. Because I don't want weird people coming to my house. Anywho, let's move on.
Yeah.
He went to England. He had a fun time.
Yeah, it was
the
great.
UK.
Yeah, woo!
Yeah.
Love this, girls. Anyways, let's get to... I reckon we'll just jump right into
Yeah,
it.
let's start asking questions. Let's start from this side because this one most likely lead on this side, and this one's most likely hurt us. Stella, top 5 women's wrestlers of all time.
Can I say myself?
No.
Apart from yourself.
Yeah, apart from yourself. Cause
I feel like my favorite women's wrestlers, I guess, were kind of like 2013 was the year I really got back into wrestling. So people like AJ Lee, Bailey, Becky Lynch, Charlotte, and at times Sasha Banks. I feel like those were the group of wrestlers that really made me fall in love with women's wrestling.
That's good. That's
Yeah,
a good top
pretty-
5.
yeah.
I like that top 5.
Solid top 5.
Yeah, that's a good top 5. Darcy Jade, what do you got?
Sasha Banks would be my probably number 1, as you probably know. Then I would probably say recently Rhea and Tiffy.
Nice.
pick from. I think like recently I've obviously been going back and watching a lot of like I was gonna say older wrestling, but so I'd probably add like Trish Stratus, and I really like Molly Holly as well.
Yes.
Molly Holly's a
Holly's
deep
great.
Holly.
Because I never really watched a lot of that like when growing up watching wrestling.
Yeah.
Like I grew up when it was like Sasha and Charlotte and Bayley, but I've recently going back and watching some older wrestling and like knockouts and that kind of stuff. And yeah, Trish and Molly Holly really have stuck out.
Nice. They're good ones. And also shout out to TNA by the way with the knockouts.
Yeah.
Let's go get
God,
Kim.
man.
Awesome Kong.
Yeah.
Lizzie, who are yours?
Okay, there's a lot of talented women's wrestlers all around the world. I would say in no particular order my top 5 because I find my favourite always rotates.
Oh my god, just like someone else here. Putting Edge at 3.
I'd have to go Minami Toyota number 1,
Ooh.
Akira Hokuto number 2, Miyu Yamashita number 3, number 4 maybe Io Sky,
Hey.
and then number 5, this is hard. I'd say Mariah May or Billy Starks.
Oh,
That's
I like the Billy Starks.
That's bold.
Very
That's
range
bold.
of ages and like wrestling styles. I just appreciate all of them and their abilities and their characters, and they all just present such different elements. And I can't pick it number 1, but they're my top 5. Yeah.
That's good.
Nice.
And also, some have been watching their Japanese wrestle. And someone who doesn't watch the pod will be very happy with that.
Yeah. Harli?
I'd say again in no particular order. I started watching in around 2012, 2013. That's when I kind of got introduced to wrestling really. But I have a little bit of a different perspective. Like, I feel like back in the day, women weren't seen as anything but like a set of boobs and a good ass in a tight thong. You know, I really enjoy wrestlers like Bull Nakano.
Yes.
Nice.
Definitely have been watching her since she first kind of made her way on the Australian scene, Zaria, Delta, as she was here. Amber from Riot City, I have a lot of respect for. I've faced her in the past. Very good wrestler, amazing personality. And my spooky sister. Another one from Australia is Charlie Evans.
Yes.
Another one that really just kind of put a stamp on not fitting the typical mold of a female wrestler. And always, as she is always on top, girl mum Rhea Ripley.
That's cool.
That's a great
Yeah,
list.
that's some great lists.
Great.
Also, loving the Australian love.
Yeah.
So they also have that Australian love. Do you want to go next? Cause, yeah.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. It is really hard, I think, because there are number 1 for me. Number 1 and 2 are pretty easy. Number 1, Io Sky.
Thought that
for
was
sure.
gonna happen.
I think she's just levels above everyone else. Like,
Very talented.
she's like, because I mainly just watch like my WWE stuff, so like, yeah, Io Sky never has a bad match, only ever has classics. And then of course Rhea Ripley, she's just absolutely goated. Another one that doesn't know how to have a bad match, in my opinion. Or I guess it's very rare that you come across a mid Rhea Ripley match.
100%. What's your match over WrestleMania?
Oh, yeah.
So good. Not calling it mid. Not calling it mid. Not calling it mid.
And
Not
then
great.
I'm gonna
Actually entire card.
I'm gonna throw in
Roy now, a second.
AJ Lee,
Yes.
because I think she was another one that she was definitely the first woman that was just like, oh shit, she's really fucking good. Like, she's awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm probably gonna get, what's that, 3? I'm gonna throw in Paige, because she was up there as well for me. In that
Paige is a
whole
good one.
I thought Paige was awesome
Paige is a
back
good
in the
one.
day, or Soraya these days, I guess.
Sorry,
And then
name as the mum.
I gotta throw in Tony Storm, you know.
I'm very happy.
I gotta throw in Tony Storm. I love me some Tony Storm.
I really expected there was like a couple names I thought you were going to throw in there just because we've talked about it. I thought Dakota Kai was getting thrown in.
Fair, she's up
we
there.
still complaining at this time.
Yeah, no, I'm
Dakota.
still upset about that.
I will continue to complain about Dakota Kai there. But still good top 5.
Thank you.
I expected EO to be in there. I think if EO didn't,
I think everyone expected it.
I would have been shocked. But on my top 5, because I wrote mine down, I'm smart.
Fair enough.
I also came up with these questions. I knew what I was doing. My number 1 is from Australia, from PWA, Jessica Troy. Because if you haven't watched my last 2-3 episodes we've done, I like Jessica Troy. Along with, and then my number 2 is obviously along with Harley is Charlie Evans. Because gotta love Cheb's country. Maybe not a bit now. She's with North Shore Wrestling and they're wankers. My number 3 is Roxanne Perez because I do love me Roxanne Perez. She's amazing. That's the reason why she's a prodigy. She's freaking amazing. And then my 4th one is with you, Toni Storm.
Oh, yes.
Who is also amazing character.
She's awesome.
Like right now, her character is hello.
The thing is with Toni, just like real quick, is like I first only started like really liking what she was doing once she got to like AEW and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'd just like watch all the promos and be like, dude, she's awesome.
Yeah.
And then I finally watched a match, and I was like, oh my god, she's so sick.
Yeah.
She's awesome, man.
No, watch her stuff. I recommend like to anyone watching or anyone that hasn't watched Toni Storm matches, go to Progress. Progress has some good matches as well. Try and find it. There was one. So Progress came here in 2018, and they had Toni Storm versus Alison Cruz from EPW.
Oh no.
And it was for the Progress Women's title. Great match. I was there live.
Oh,
it's the only
nice.
time you can now watch it is if you're there live, because they don't have it on Progress.
Oh, right.
Their channel. And EPW doesn't have it on them yet.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, as far as I know. Anywho, moving on to my last one is Awesome Kong from TNA. She was amazing. The way she just moved in the ring, she was big, but she was moved like amazingly. And then her matches with Gail Kim, and then her matches with ODP, and even Tara, amazing. And then obviously she's done. I think she also did some stuff in Japan too. So and she's done amazing in general. And then she obviously let's not talk about the time WWE.
Yeah.
Let's not bring up that. Let's not bring up the time where they just didn't use her really.
Yeah.
She got pregnant, so they were like, we'll just make it a bullying part.
Yeah.
And then it really hurt my feelings. But yeah, definitely go watch these people who we've just all named, because if you don't, rude. Definitely go watch Australian wrestlers.
Yeah.
Zario is also a good one. Go with Delta if you're Riot City Wrestling. Friend of the pod, 40, we'll put down there where the Riot City YouTube channel, or we will.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was our top 5s. Hope you guys all liked them. Tell us yours if you want in the comments. That would be mucho appreciated. Should we go for another question or randomly talk?
I reckon we just go for another question.
Fantastic. Start this up.
Yeah. Of course.
Okay, Harli Hyde. Favorite women's match?
It's hard to pick.
Or matches?
I've enjoyed a lot of women's matches, and I've
And you
also...
can't say your own.
Please, I'm not Stella Nyx.
Stella. Can't say your own. I'm so glad you didn't bring your hammer with you.
I still have a chair.
Have we checked that? Has
I
Stella brought her...
I'm not sure. Have you?
Have you, Stella?
I hope not.
'Cause let's not do that again. I don't have to deal with that.
But in most recent times, the triple threat with Rhea, Io, and Bianca.
Yeah.
Gotta love that love.
That was a good one, Harley.
Good one, yeah.
A common thread I see in a lot of triple threat matches is it turns into a singles match with someone in the outside that just constantly rotates. And that match was just stellar. Absolutely stellar.
Yeah.
Amazing. And honestly, if I'm going to be a little bit biased, it's probably my favourite match of the entire WrestleMania card.
It was, yeah. Honestly, like
there were definitely better storylines on WrestleMania, like the whole thing with Punk and Rollins and everything like that was going on was good. But that match for the specifics of wrestling was the best match on the entire card.
No, I honestly, I agree. I think like...
And he's not just saying that because Io Sky was in the match.
I am not just saying that because Io Sky was in the match. I'm saying that because I genuinely think like you put that match up against any other match on that card, bar for bar, it's better.
Oh yeah,
like it just is. Like
it is. It was what's needed.
I think the finish of the night 1 main event, that was probably my favorite moment of that Mania weekend. But like that Io Bianca Rhea triple threat was just. It was insane, next level.
I think that's the match from people I've talked to, and most of them happen to be here. but most people I talk to have brought up, like, they do bring up obviously the Punk in New Orleans because obviously what happened at the end, but like most of them bring up.
I called that.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, you did.
Did you actually? Damn. That was like the last thing that I expected. To be fair.
But like you see that match, and most people do bring up that match more than they do the other matches because it was a great match. Rhea's obviously amazing. So was Io. There you go. And Bianca Belair is amazing too. Like that's the thing. I think Bianca Belair, because of obviously Rhea being really good, Io doing amazing, being Io Sky, you kind of get like she gets under, like they don't really talk much about Bianca, but she is doing really well. Obviously when she was in that little feud with Jade and Naomi, which
that was amazing.
That eventually.
When you have three women that have three different styles and three completely different characters, it makes for very interesting matchups. And obviously you've got Rhea, who's the more conniving, brutal force. You've got Bianca, that's just a powerhouse, and then you've got Io that can flick from here, there, and everywhere. It just made for a great matchup.
She's genius to the sky.
Exactly.
Ben, yours.
Mine?
Yeah, but one sec. On that, obviously on the Rhea and Bianca and Io. Think about this. Like we'll go into this later, but like that's what happens when you give you get great women's wrestlers and you go, hey, this is your match. Do this. They had a great fucking match, and they overshadowed some of the guys.
Yeah.
No, actually,
100%.
all of the guys because they fucking did.
Yeah. And on that note, speaking of overshadowing everyone else on the card, right now I'm feeling my favorite women's match. I'm gonna have to give it to Rhea and Charlotte.
Ooh.
I think.
WrestleMania?
Yeah.
The one where Charlotte got her face busted open.
Yeah.
I think 39.
Yeah, we love that. I'm not.
Sorry to all Charlotte fans.
I've never been the biggest Charlotte fan. I've never really gotten I don't know. It's never really made sense to me. It's just always felt like a little bit forced.
Yeah, that does happen. Your name's Flair.
Yeah, but she's always, well, not so much recently, but most of the time she puts on some pretty good matches. Personally, I think that was her best match.
Oh yeah.
Ever.
I think before that match, I would give it to maybe her, Becky and Sasha at WrestleMania.
Yeah,
that was a pretty goddamn good match.
Yeah.
But then you kind of, it was most of the other ones were kind of they were expected to be good. Her and Sasha are always really good together.
They were
her and Becky.
they were always very good.
Yeah, but those were the matches that you think, okay, you're adding another person in, cool.
Yeah.
But then can this still be a good match? And then you're and also especially at that WrestleMania 32 match, that was kind of setting up. That was the end of the Divas era.
Yeah.
Beginning of them starting to call them superstars and also women's wrestlers. And also having respect for them. Some of them, not all.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. But then it's that was a good golf play.
Yeah.
This is your match. You had Charlotte, Becky, and Sasha before. They really became big, especially Becky.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. Any others?
My mind always goes back to I always forget what year it was. Because my memory is horrible. I want to say 2014 or whatever. It was probably later than that. It was the first the women's War Games match. The first time when Io jumped off the top with the trash can. Was that 2017? 2017?
2017.
I was way off.
Was that the one where Tegan had to be pulled out?
When she did.
Was Dakota attacked?
Was that when Dakota attacked her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's 17? Yeah. Dakota turned.
Yeah.
heel.
No.
Great always.
That I haven't watched that match back in a while.
Probably on YouTube.
Which now I think about it, I really want to now, but I'll save it for when I get home. But yeah, no, that match was when I first watched that, I was
yeah,
shit, this is awesome. That was the first time that I was oh my god, Io Sky, what the hell?
Watching stuff in Japan.
I really should, yeah. I've watched her match with Penta. Which was obviously in Mexico.
Yeah,
but that was awesome.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Lizzie.
I find it really difficult picking one, but one that I'll always go back and watch.
One. It could be multiples.
I just one that I always will just always find myself going back to is it was for the world title. It was world title match 1995. Aja Kong versus Manami Toyota. That match is just like, well, Toyota, I find her wrestling style is just like, I don't think everyone says about fighting spirits and just like, I guess like just the fight and the drive, and there's no one ever wrestles like her. She's just got such an addictive, just like when you watch her, you just like wanna, I don't know, it's just the best match. And it just like, when I think of women's wrestling, I think of that match. Just the sheer like, and they've had a lot of matches together, but this is by far, I think, one of my favorites. It's just the aggressiveness, the fight, the story, just everything. It's just, it's a strong match, and I just like always go back to watching it. That's probably my number one. I find it, obviously, I really liked Chev's and Jessica Troy PWA title match recently. Brilliant. Mariah May, Toni Storm, Hollywood ending match.
Yeah.
Amazing. I think there's a lot out there, and I think it's quite hard to pinpoint a number one, but there's always a personal favourite, I think, with everyone, and that would be mine.
Which is really cool, by the way. I think that's a really cool moment to think about. Like, there is not just like, there are so many great women's matches out there, like even from the past, even now, that you can't like just go, oh, it's this one, and then everyone will be like, yeah, cool, I watched that too, it was great. And then it's like, it's always that one thing where like, so you say like, I say this match, and you'd be like, oh no, actually this match is really cool too. Like this match, it's a lot of different matches, and it's great to see that. Because like, guys have it where like we can say fucking 50,000 matches. Because like, for a while, a lot of the women's fans and also wrestlers didn't get to be like, oh, I watched this match, and it was really good. And then it's like, yeah, but then like, what other matches you got?
Yeah.
What other ones? It's like, no, I watched this match, and it's like, oh, but then I watched like 15,000 more.
Yeah.
And they're fucking good.
Yeah, especially if you're like, if you're like me, and you know, you're so in that like
WWE bubble.
Yeah, you're so much in that WWE bubble, and like, you don't really get a lot of outside influence. It makes it.
Yeah.
It makes it so much more satisfying. Like honestly, like when you finally get that, like when we finally started getting like actual women's wrestling, it was like, oh shit, they're actually like really good. And it's like, yeah, no shit, they're really good.
Yeah.
Like, because they're finally getting given a shot.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I vaguely remember, I can't remember who the opponent was, but Michelle McCool had a match against her, and at the end, the bookers asked her to go out there and redo the match because their strikes and everything looked so much better than the guys. They're like,
that's right.
That's not our problem. If our strikes and our moves look better than the guys, that's up to them to step up their level.
Absolutely.
Might have been like, I think it was either like Victoria or Natalia or something.
It might have
and
been
they were just
Victoria.
and then she was just like, because I heard that one. And she was like, they just went, hey, when you go back out and do the match, she's like, why did we do something wrong, or did we go over time? They're like, no, you just hit too well. Go back and do better. Like, don't hit as hard. And she's like, why is that? And then I think Undertaker was like, why? That's not their problem.
Yeah.
The guys should do better. Guys should do
exactly.
Better. And I was like, damn, bro. Darcy, yours?
I've thought of a few while we're
Fantastic.
talking. But
I'm
the
so
first
glad.
one that comes to mind is Sasha Banks and Charlotte in a Falls Count Anywhere match.
Whoa,
Yeah,
that's
it's
a
the
good
match
one.
that made me like want to become a wrestler. I just think, I just everything about it. Just enjoyed the match. I think the end especially, like being in the crowd. I don't know, something that I actually went back and rewatched it the other day. Sorry, please ignore my cough.
No, don't ignore it at all.
I would also probably agree with Harley with the recent triple threat at WrestleMania. Would probably be my most recent favourite match. And more of an intergender match. But you mentioned Penta, and I think Chelsea Green and Penta.
Oh, yes.
Banger.
Yeah,
Love
that's an
that.
awesome match.
Yeah, go watch that. I don't know where to find that, but go watch it.
Yeah.
Find it.
It's where, sorry?
On
It's
YouTube.
on
Oh, is it?
I gotta find that.
I watched it on
Don't
TikTok.
know. Don't know if it's the 4 match, but it's a good
Go watch
chunk.
Yeah, no, you know when
my
like
mum found me a website that has a full match. That's
If you'd
why
like
I
to
have
send us that
around, so
website,
I
we'd
will
greatly
send it
appreciate
to you
yeah,
guys.
Please send me
you know like when
the
people
website.
upload on TikTok like whole movies in
Yeah.
like separate parts. I did that with the
Yeah.
with the
Well, it's like,
Penta and
it was
Chelsea
like
Green match.
Chelsea did an interview recently, and she said she thinks she's watched 2 of her matches in full and only because it's shown up on like Instagram and Twitter, and because someone just posted it, and that's the Penta match, and then I think there was another match she put. And she was like, yeah, I've only watched those two matches because she doesn't watch the matches back. She doesn't like watching the matches. And I'm like, fair, I wouldn't either. I've had like one and I don't watch it back. Stella, if you would like to tell us?
I feel like the match I've always gone back to as being one of the reasons why I wanted to start being a wrestler was the Sasha Banks versus Bayley Iron Woman match.
Yeah,
good.
Great match.
I just remember at the time like sitting down and being so engaged the entire time. Like there's some matches I've watched where like I'll zone in, I'll zone out. Like I'll just get distracted and like I want to keep watching it. But I remember sitting on the couch that day and the entire time my eyes were glued to the screen watching this match unfold. And I haven't watched it back recently. But I think I definitely need to because it's one match that always sticks in my mind when people are like, what's your favourite match? And I'm like, it's this match. Like I haven't watched it lately, but I remember it making such an impact on me when I did get to watch it live for the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good match. I need to go watch that.
Yeah,
match.
I definitely need to watch that as well.
This is my afternoon little
I
adventure
know.
today.
I'm doing it at the end of
Aerobic
it.
studio, then wrestling. Let's go.
And just
What a way.
just on that, being like so engaged by a match, I just want to give an honourable mention to Bayley and Io Sky.
Yeah.
You take one that I've already got written
No,
down, as you can see on my phone.
Mania. Can you help me out here?
Hang on, Sasha.
No, Io and
Was that
Bayley.
39?
Bayley, sorry.
Yeah,
What did I
no,
say?
40. That's 40.
Yeah, 40.
Yeah, 40.
Io and Bayley. Because
Sorry.
I don't remember if I've said it on this pod before or not. I think I have, but like
You love Io Sky? Many
I
times.
love Io Sky,
couple.
but I'm also not the biggest Bayley fan.
Yeah, I think
I
you mentioned
love
that.
Bayley's character. I've just never I had never really been invested in a Bayley match before until that match. That match was her match with Io, which is it blew me away. I think that's Bayley's best match in my opinion.
Yeah.
Just in terms of in ring quality.
Yeah, and also if you look at Bayley and Io are really good friends outside of the ring, and you put them together in a ring, and they're it's magic.
It's that match was.
Wrestle your friends, kids.
Awesome.
Wrestle your friends.
Yeah.
In a ring. In a ring.
Yeah,
Or not a ring.
safely.
Depends on the company you go to. Well, last me. I have two. One is Sasha Banks vs Bayley NXT Takeover Brooklyn.
Yeah.
That first match that they had that set up obviously the Iron Woman match and many more matches that they had. It started great. I've watched that 20 times just for general watching. Not to study at all. I've just really watched it, and it's amazing just to watch Bayley. She had the way just the story was. It was Bayley was very underlooked in the sense of Sasha was easy win. I'm easy, and Bayley was I'm still good, and Sasha's you're not that good though.
Yeah.
That match, and then obviously the last one, which I was going to call out two of you, but now only one of you are here, so I can only call one of you out. It's Chevs versus Troy, last person standing.
Yeah.
Great match. And I said this to them both, and they both went, I'm going to watch it. Have you watched it?
Nah.
Oh.
I really,
Hurts the most, but I will bring it up.
I'm actually, my phone's on.
Yeah, his phone's filming this currently,
I was
but
gonna write it in my notes.
Oh.
So
you can't watch it now,
listing.
where it's a long match. It's a good match, though.
I think the interesting thing about women's matches, or just matches in general, if there's not a good reason behind it and not a good story, I find the matches seem to be a little bit harder to watch.
No, I completely
I
agree.
think the triple threat's kind of the exception, whereas the three women didn't have beef with each other, but they all had a purpose.
Yeah.
But another one that always stuck out to me isn't the world's greatest wrestling match, but it was Trish versus Mickey, and this is when Mickey was brand new and she had the obsession with Trish Stratus, and then she started using her moves in the match.
Is that the 22 one? WrestleMania 22?
Oh, it wasn't a Mania. I think it was.
Because I was that was a good match too.
I have a feel. No, it wasn't a New Year's Revolution. I can't remember exactly. It might have been a Judgment Day or back in the mid 2000s. But the really good storylines behind the matches are the reasons I keep watching. So if there's a really great story behind it and there's a build up or there's a lead up, sometimes even those mid feud matches can be absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I think that goes for any match. I think that's been the change, especially with women's wrestling, is having more stories behind the match. It used to kind of just be throwaway, this wrestler can face this wrestler. And even if they're good wrestlers, you're not invested in the matches if there's not a good story. And I always felt that like all the men always had such good stories. Like I remember, like Matt Hardy versus Jeff Hardy and that like massive feud they had, like that entire feud where I think like the house on fire or something. Like it was having such rich stories, and I felt like the women just didn't. It was always, I hate you, let's have a match, rather than anything rich or anything deeper to draw upon. I think for me that's been the biggest change in recent years, is giving women more stories and having that mean good matches, because you want to see the outcome of it more than just your standard match.
100% agree. And it's the thing when you get told like training and that, it's that you can have all your fancy moves in a match, but if you have no story behind it, no one's gonna care. Yeah, and it's like you can do all your fancy flippy shit and all that stuff, but at the end of the day, if you have nothing behind it, it's gonna just be like, cool, nothing means anything to me.
Absolutely.
And that's why, don't hit me, to all of you, except you hit me like you back. I feel like here
we go.
But I feel like some women's matches at the time, not probably like 2013 backwards, were kind of known as piss breaks. In the sense of they would come on and you're like, if you're in the show and you're like, okay, I gotta pee.
It's time when you get up, refill your drink.
You would feel like you're not gonna miss. You would know like, okay, it's gonna be probably like 5 minutes. I'm not gonna miss anything really. Nothing's happening in that match. I was really expecting one of you to swing on me then. But like it was known as like literally in those matches. Even like fans started calling it that, and I think that really that fucking hurts. If you're if I'm a wrestler and I get told my matches are just known as piss breaks by fans, I'd be like, the fuck am I going out there for?
Yeah, like
why am I doing this match?
Yeah.
If it's just for everyone's gonna leave and go, I'm gonna go watch I'm gonna go grab like merch and that. It's like, what the hell? And I don't know too much about like I should have, but like especially when like EPW had like their women's one where it's like a few of them but not a lot, like Alison Cruz and all those people. And then it's like, because I think we have had women's matches in the sense back then. Yeah. But I'm like, was it considered that still, like even in here, even in Perth, or was it just like, oh, it's a match, another match we get to watch, or was it considered, oh, I'm gonna go check merch, I'm gonna go pee, I'm gonna grab food, or was it actually, did we actually care? That'd be interesting. I actually don't know. So, oops. Any of you want to shed any light on that? I don't know about.
So my first EPW event, I went in like June or July of 2016.
Okay.
And like I just randomly found EPW and I decided to go to a show. And on that card there was a women's 4-way match with Alison Cruz, Blair Brady, Amity Rowe, and Michelle Kate Hasler. And so I went to the show knowing nothing about EPW, and then all of a sudden there was 4 women's wrestlers from Perth on this show, and for me that just blew my mind, because one, I didn't know local wrestling existed, but then also knowing that there was 4 women on the card in one match just even more blew my mind. It was shortly after that though that a lot of them stopped wrestling. Kind of when I first started training, it was for lots of different reasons. They stopped, they moved, kind of all that. But yeah, I was just mind blown that there was 4 women in one match. But from what I do know, it was just that same match in different combinations, because there wasn't really any sort of storyline with them. It was, we have 4 wrestlers, let's singles, triple threat, 4-way. I don't really ever think that, especially when I kind of came in, that there was much story to it.
Yeah. Which we have got. Which we have gotten a lot better now. Obviously, you two. That's why Darcy's in the middle. Of you two not liking each other, and then obviously you and Layla Devine have your issues. And,
I've beaten her twice now.
She did beat you, though. I mean, nothing at all. I didn't say nothing.
My chair is in the car.
That's why I said nothing. I said nothing at all.
We don't have beef.
Just speaking on that, your history with Layla Devine.
Great matches, though.
Great matches, yeah. And, coming off the back of the whole, like, piss break shit, I do remember very specifically at the STW show.
Is that the one we reviewed and we got pissy about?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, we called them out.
Because we called the fans out. And
you did. That was the first episode if you didn't watch it.
Because a lot of the fans left, right, as your match with Layla came on. And the whole time I remember thinking, how because your run with that belt was so
560.
exactly. It was so long, not long in the sense that like probably not, but you know what I mean. Like it was like I felt like there was just so much disrespect shown to not only you but also Layla, and I just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
We had that feud for close to 18 months.
Yeah.
And 90% of those matches were all those right before the main event. And I feel like a lot of the time when you have like family that comes to watch you at wrestling, they come to watch your match and then they piss off.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact that whenever any of my family come to watch my matches, I ask them to stay for the entire show, even if they don't know any of the other wrestlers. Sometimes people come for the whole show just to watch the main event. And a lot of the time that's what wrestlers that are put in those like popcorn spots or those mid-card sort of matches, that's what they bank on, is people coming to watch the main event. So when people just start to kind of float out the door and we're putting everything we can out there for our own purposes and people just fuck off, yeah, it sucks. But whether I'm wrestling in front of 10 people or I'm wrestling in front of 300, I'm there for my own purposes. I don't.
Yeah. And that's why I thought that it was such a testament to both you and Layla that you both, like, even though I don't remember exactly how many people were there at that time, but the fact that both of you treated that match still exactly how it was supposed to be treated.
Yeah, and you didn't like go out there and be like, oh shit, not many people, okay.
Yeah, you didn't.
I'm never gonna phone in a match.
No,
like
100%.
if I'm out there defending a title or going for a title or fucking settling a score, whatever the course may be, I don't give a shit how many fans are out there, because at the end of the day, it's about me and it's about what I want to go out there in the ring and do, and it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, because like obviously we talked about this with Chile, but like we talked about this in Northern when one of my mates, his friend his friend's kid who's a girl, she was like, we were doing the Northern show and she kind of like saw the photos and she was like she was going because her brother obviously was going, and she was like not excited at all. She didn't give a shit because she was like, I'm just gonna watch a bunch of dudes wrestle. Who the fuck wants that? Right, and then your Harli Hyde's match with Chile got announced and she got like super excited because she was like, fuck yeah, women's match, let's fucking go. And I said to my mate, I was like, would she want to meet them? And he was like, 100%, that'd be so cool. He goes, only if you can. I was like, fuck yeah, I know them. Fine, Harli won't kill me for it. And I just remember that, and I was like, and Chile obviously, you know, came out and like did all that, and Harli liked to scare children, so she didn't. She already scared the children. But like, it was that moment where I was like, this is cool. Like, this is a cool moment, as like you get to, you know, make a little girl's day, but then also you don't know what this could do for her. Like,
yeah, exactly.
And she might want to become a wrestler.
Exactly.
Because of this and be like, this is pretty cool. She'll want to come to more shows, obviously. If we go back to Northern, it's like she's 100% will come to a show because she'll want to see Chili and she'll want to see Harli again, or whoever else we have, you know, Corey, or you know, random people, whoever else we have on our roster.
Yeah. But
at that time, it's like, it's those kind of things, those kind of little moments of, and I want to actually ask like all you guys this: have you ever had that where like a little girl you've met like a fan and you've gone, like, you kind of have that feeling of like, okay, that's real, that was a cool moment. Of like, you met a little fan and you kind of feel like you've just like...
At Ambition 3 there was a little girl in the front row and she had hair that was coloured my hair because she'd come to a few of the shows and she was in the front row and she's like, I love you, hi. Naturally, like, I don't feed into that when I'm out there doing what I need to do, but she came and saw me after the show and she's like, she must have been like 8 or 9 years old, little baby. I have a soft spot for the little one.
She doesn't have many.
It's probably my only soft spot. But she came up and she's like, do you like my hair, Harli? I did it just for you. And I was like, it looks great, sweetie. Keep it up.
That's awesome.
That's cool. She like had a photo with me and everything. And she's like, I'm so sorry that you lost your title. And I was like, it's okay, I'll get it back.
That's awesome.
That didn't happen.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I have two. One being like when we used to do the Royal Show, there was we're doing shows all day every day, and there was this little girl who was out in the foyer, and I was chatting with her, and she was at the Royal Show doing like a dance performance, and she saw me wrestle, And then I went out into the foyer, and then I was just doing like some tricks with her, and she, I was just doing like band backs and stuff like that, and just kind of engaging with her on that level, which I don't know if she ever did come back to wrestling, but it was kind of showing her the performing arts side of wrestling. So I really enjoyed that interaction. But the second one is actually someone who we started training with, and that's Raphael.
Yeah.
So Raphael used to come to shows, a big fan, used to have an Instagram account called Stella Nyx fan.
I followed that account, and I also, and he also messaged me.
Yeah,
I
so
remember that. I was going to ask about that.
knowing all the interactions I had with him when he was younger, and kind of continuing his love of wrestling and his love of, Mercedes, and then now seeing him train and knowing that having just a little part in that story of him like watching wrestling and want to keep watching wrestling, has been super cool to see. Like, knowing you don't know what your interactions are actually going to do.
Exactly.
And get more and more people involved in wrestling.
Yeah. Also, big shout out to old Raffers.
Yeah.
Fucking G.
Damn,
We love Raph.
He does follow us.
I remember like I came back after like a month or whatever of just not like being around the school.
Yeah.
Oh, it was such a nice one.
And
I know, right? Kidding. Love you.
I come back for grading and I'm seeing like not only Raph but like Sam, so many of the other trainees that are about that like their progression has just been mental.
100%.
Like
even the ones obviously with that progression, like we obviously talk about trainees. We have obviously Sam, she's doing well now. She's obviously level 2, but then like we have obviously Evan Faye doing amazing. Darcy Jade right there doing amazing. Yeah. But it's like it's these little things that you're gonna start to see. I feel like there's a boom period about to happen. Not just in Australian women's wrestling, but I think it's in Perth women's wrestling.
I think it's
gonna be a boom coming
in just Perth in general.
Fucking great life.
I think just Perth in general is about to have this like this just surge of like new talent that's going to come up, and like from what I've been watching and training, so many of the trainees are like so good,
annoyingly good.
Yeah, like
it'll take some of them out before they get into the ring. They're all doing I'm doing all the moves to Raph.
I think I'm saying about like how many women and girls we've got training now, because obviously we've got our 6 main girls that are working shows here and there, but we've also got 4 or 5 other girls like in training, making their way through the processes. And I think for a long time the girls that were just on the card were just like, it's all good, we've got our spots, we don't have to like worry about our spots being taken anymore. We've always been told, regardless of your gender, you have to earn your spot, you have to work for your spot. And now it's even more important because the roster across all of the companies here in Perth are just massive. Like multiple people are working multiple companies, whether it be EPW, STW, NH, whatever, do it as well. And there's so few spots available now that we have to work harder. Otherwise, these new guys and girls are going to pass us up and they're going to fly their way through the ranks. Like, guys like Simply the Best have just already started skyrocketing just because they've got a little bit of natural athleticism.
Oh, I forgot about
but like all these girls, like Corey has been working so hard for a long time.
Facts.
And all the girls have their points of where they need to work on, like all of us, regardless of how long we've been training. And I think what's a real testament to that is these girls, they know how to not quit and not give up.
Yeah, right.
As much as we make them try.
Yeah. Lizzie, have you had any fan interactions that like have really?
Yeah, so I debuted with Schwa, and I found Schwa was very family friendly, very like character orientated, very fun memories with Schwa, and I found a lot more families used to go to Schwa shows, and there was one little girl that used to just, I think maybe my second ever match, sorry, when the retrogrades were a thing. Do you remember that? That was great. Yeah, it was really good. We were everyone really loved us. Anyway,
that team.
It was me and Stella as the retrogrades, and it was versus Mind Muscle Connection versus Metal 64 for a triple threat tag in Schwa. And that was my second ever match ever on a show. And I think I gave my sweatband to a little girl. And then every single Schwa show following that, she was there in the front row, high pony like me, with a sweatband like me, and would just come up to me after every match. So that was always one. And then a second one was, honestly, like very recently, a few shows ago, it might have been, what was it? It was at Marawa. It was an EPW show, and I was on I lied. It was Reawakening, Willerton Stadium, and I was stood near merch, and I had like a mum and like a younger boy who might have been like 8 years old, and he was asking why I wasn't wrestling, and I was like, but at this time I was on my little like, Lizzie was just putting in work at the studio, you know, not really, just had a bit of a break from wrestling, and I just like explained to him, I was like, just wait and see, and I'll be back, and here it was. That I saw him recently, and he was stoked, and that's always stuck with me, I think. So
That's awesome.
That's really
yeah, there's quite a few I could name, but yeah, I think just like really, especially when kids look up to you, I think it's really special. Especially like little girls and like their influence with women's wrestling, especially in the local scene. I think really has an impact, especially when it's very male dominant.
Yeah. 100%.
And there's not many women. I think it's very important to really like recognize them, like, you know, watching and just like supporting us, and I think it's really special, and you never know who you're talking to, like
exactly.
This could be the future generation, and
like Raph.
yeah, exactly, and this could be, you know, I'm only young, I've been training since I was 16, I'm only 22 now, so it's been a long time, and even like as I was a 16-year-old girl, I looked up to a lot of the women, and now I'm facing some of them in the ring, so it's just you know, that's all I wanted to say about that. Sorry, I went on a tangent there.
Think, no,
Lizzie likes tangents.
We love
So do we.
If you get me on something I like
tangents.
talking about, I'll just
Oh my god, we've done the same thing. We've had to keep ourselves on track.
What a great tangent topic.
I think it's so important having interactions like that in independent wrestling, because, you know, especially in like Perth, and it's like we're the most isolated city in the world or whatever, but like, you know, although like we get like WWE, like they'll come here like once a year, maybe like recently, but before they've been coming, it's like all these like kids have like, they've seen these wrestlers and they're larger than life, and it's like, oh my god, they're on the screen on WWE, but like I'm never gonna meet them, I'm never gonna talk to them, and it's like they come to the indies and they get that exact same feeling, but they can actually interact with you guys, and it's like they
a fuck ton of money.
Yeah, and like they don't like, you know, like they don't like feel, what's the word? I don't know what word I'm looking for.
That's
I feel
like,
like- I feel like it may not be the word you're looking for, but it feels like, because I've seen a few fans where it's like, it doesn't seem like when they like talk to Stella, even though she may give off that you might be bugging her, but like Lizzie and even Harley, when they may give off a vibe that you're bugging them, but it feels like you're not bugging them. Where like if I went to like meet Rhea Ripley or meet like that, I feel like I'm like you have better things to do. You don't want to be here. You're doing this because you're getting like paid to be to do this, and not saying they're not paid to do this, but it's like in the sense of like you can tell when like somebody is just like they're there because they want you to be like they're gonna talk to you as long as they can.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, you know, if we're talking, it's not. I'm not gonna be like, crap. You're probably gonna tell me someone's gonna come by and grab you and be like,
we're gonna go.
Where like if I was talking to Lizzie or Stella or even Harley and be like, I don't feel like someone's gonna go and go, okay, bye, let's go.
Yeah, exactly.
We gotta go.
That's what I was gonna mention. I was gonna say, there's I've not really travelled much interstate to see what other states' crowds are like. I'm sure they're loyal to, but I find the Perth wrestling fans, there's no one as loyal as them. They're so supportive. They'll give you the same energy, whether or not it's in front of, like, whether or not it's at a trainee show, a showcase, no matter what venue it is. I find that they will, or Willerton Basketball Stadium, I find that they always give the same energy and they always give the same amount of respect and care, and I think they're very forgiving and caring, and I don't know,
Yeah.
like I saw a fan dressed as a bin chicken at Showcase, and I was like, that's just like,
That's awesome.
yeah, I know, but I was like, that's
awesome.
just like shows the level of
Yeah.
like
we
care
fully
and-
support the bin chick.
Oh, 100%.
and how much they
That's fine,
respect
we don't talk about it.
Perth wrestling, and they care about upcoming talent, and they care about everyone. And I just think it's like important to give them all the time in the world, because they're the reason we're here. If not, we wouldn't be, you know.
100%.
Yeah.
I think one of the hardest parts about interacting with fans, especially when you're not booked on shows, is they stand there and they're like, "Oh, you're not wrestling tonight," and it's like,
Yeah, it's
I
like,
don't know.
what
I
do
can't answer that question.
Yeah, it's like, what do you really say to that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Like-
a fan that I see at every shows that usually comes and chats up to me and she's like, "Oh, why are you not wrestling tonight?" And I'm like, "I was told I'm too aggressive to fight the women that we've got available, so
Wow.
Wow.
sorry."
Heard it here first. Too aggressive.
So I'm like, "Fine, put me up against the boys, do it."
Then you get told you're too aggressive. Again.
And then the boys complain that I hit too hard.
You should really fight Chadwick.
Sorry.
I'd love to see you in Chadwick.
Hey, when he decides to freaking rock up,
Which, yeah, we don't know where he
I haven't
is.
seen him.
Yeah,
in
where
months.
is he?
I have no goddamn clue.
Lost
I
the
don't
crypto. Lost the crypto. Decided not to show up again. I wouldn't show my face again if I lost the crypto. It won't happen. I won't.
Don't have a damn haircut.
I won't lose the crypto. Watch me lose the crypto. Anywho, on to other things. I want to actually ask you guys all this because it's very interesting and obviously, hopefully, fans care. But what or who got you into like wrestling? What made you kind of like go, this is me. Like this
In
is what
terms of training or just
like
watching wrestling?
yeah, watching wrestling
Yeah.
and also training if you want to.
Like-
but like, what made you go?
What
this
made,
is this.
Yeah,
this
what
is
made
mine.
you want to be like? What made you go? Oh, I want to do this.
This is my.
Like,
This is my future.
like that's what I want to
Oh, where are we starting?
So,
do.
I think, as I said earlier, like a big part was not knowing that women's wrestling existed here in Perth.
yeah.
And knowing that I could train to be a wrestler was one step. But it was also like slightly before that. I want to say it was something like Total Divas at the time, where I was watching. Again, you see like the wrestling part on screen, but then knowing behind the scenes stuff made wrestling not seem that scary. Because I remember looking at it originally going, "That's gonna hurt. I don't want to get hurt."
It does.
Like it's a very physical sport. Only seeing that part made me not want to be a wrestler. But then seeing behind the scenes stuff, I just then started watching and going, "Oh, that's not bad. They've just wrestled a match and they're okay." So seeing the actual world of wrestling as a whole helped me to think that I could give it a go. Like I remember, weirdly enough, it was like Becky Lynch. I think I was watching a match of hers on NXT, and she took like an arm drag or something. And I remember watching, going, "I could do that." Like it was one of the first times I broke down wrestling into like smaller parts, and I was like, "I could do that. I could do that." What's stopping me from doing that? Was a big part of me then deciding I could train to be a wrestler. Coming from like a dancing and performing background, like I knew I could do that. It was just when I first started, I was a stick twig. And if you ask them what the trainers, they were like, "We thought you were going to give up on the first day because you were going to get hurt straight away," being the size I was. So I guess, yeah, just seeing it from that, like a different perspective of wrestling, and knowing that it was something that I could do. Like people who were my size were wrestling, and they were okay. So yeah, I guess that's kind of what made me want to start wrestling.
That's awesome.
That's really cool. I like that. Darcy?
I guess, like, I always watched wrestling as a kid, and obviously I was mentioned before, like, Sasha and Charlotte, like, that falls count anywhere match, like, really made me, I think, go, I want to be a wrestler, like, after watching that.
Yeah.
Just that whole feud in general, I think, it made me kind of fall in love with wrestling. But when I was young, obviously, like, I lived in Marina before, as you guys know, which is, like, treks away from the city. It's, like, an hour and a half.
nowhere.
Yeah, middle of nowhere, small country town.
Help you all.
And so when I was younger, I asked my mum, like, I really want to wrestle. Like, I played a lot of basketball and netball, but that was it. But mum was like, "Look, we live too far away. Like, can't drive you there." Like, I was like probably 14, so she was like, "I'm not going to drive you to, you know, Perth however often to train." Then I probably hit like high school, kind of fell out of watching wrestling a little bit, forgot about it. Like I said, I didn't really know like wrestling was the same. I didn't really know wrestling was actually a thing in Perth until like I started asking my mum if I could train. But then when WWE came for Elimination Chamber, we went and watched, and I think after that, watching that, I went, you know, I'm older now, I've got my own job, I can drive myself, I really want to like wrestle again. I really want to get back into watching wrestling and actually want to train again and like learn how. I think I saw one of Slaps' posts on Instagram following Elimination Chamber. And I think I stalked him and saw that he was a coach, and then saw the school. Well, like I stalked him on Instagram, like his account. Like I saw he came up in my suggested. Okay, it wasn't
just
like
checking.
Wasn't a weird stalk. I was
Just
just
checking.
like,
Just
clicked
checking.
on his account and I was
Just
like, oh, he's a coach at this school, and then I sent an email in and then started training shortly after.
And here we are. Still here. Lizzie?
So I will say I grew up in a household, not that like I'm not saying girls didn't watch wrestling when they were young, but I grew up with 3 sisters, and honestly a majority of what was on like TV most of the time was like the Bratz movies, the Barbie movies. I didn't I didn't really watch, I never watched wrestling growing up. I won't lie to you, I never did. And I used to just like, all the boys would be like, John Cena in school, and I'd be like, oh yeah, cool, he's cool, you know. I never really watched it, and when I was 16 years old, I was at the Perth Royal Show, and we stumbled across EPW in like Gate 1 Theatre, and I think that's really special, is that my first proper encounter with wrestling was local wrestling. And a lot of the people that I watch are people that train me, or like I train alongside with, and sometimes I wrestle them now, which I just thought was really cool. And I had like a dancery background. I also did CrossFit for the 2 years leading up into training. So when I did start training, I was a lot smaller, but I found I had a good, at least background in like athletics and things like that. So that definitely gave me a step, because I was rather small. I was very young. I didn't even have my learner's permit, I don't think, when I first started. Very young. And yes, I kept going, and just, it was probably the hardest thing I've ever done, training. It was a very big mental battle. Still being in school, I was only in year 10 when I started training. I'm like, it's really young. And being in a room full of adults, and sometimes there was no girls there. And it was just like, and then I remember 6 months into training, I met Harli Hyde at Open Day, and we got to work together, and I thought that was really cool, that there was another woman coming in. And, you know, there's other people like Layla Devine was there with me from day one. I mean, Stella Nyx was also wrestling. She was at my first showcase I ever watched. UN vs. Jay Taylor. Great match. She actually left. He booted her out the school. It was actually quite satisfying.
Because then I could have liked to go and wrestle interstate.
She's busy girl. Anyway.
Humble as ever, as we say.
Yeah. So I was so young, and local wrestling was what drove me into wanting to start wrestling, which I think was really special. And my first ever Perth local show, apart from the Raw show, was Reawakening. I can't exactly remember, but main event was the Plague vs. Street Gang Hooligans at a street fight. And that was just like, and I was in front row, and that was just to me like one of the coolest moments ever. And I just couldn't, it was so captivating. Never looked back since. I enjoy watching wrestling. I think like when I started, I was mainly watching WWE, especially Sasha Banks's and Bayley's feud. That was
good feud.
Yeah, amazing. But as I've gotten older, I've realised that there's so much more wrestling out there, and there's so much to watch, and there's wrestling nearly on every corner of the earth. You'll find just so much different things. But I don't know what else. I just went on a ramble. Hopefully, I hit the mark with the question. I just like to.
Got there.
You know what I'm like.
That's great. Well, it's me and Ben are literally the same. That's really cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Because I think, and that's also a good thing. Really, especially now in wrestling, like there are wrestling everywhere. Like you can like you can find something or some style that you're like that was.
You can find some form of wrestling.
Yeah.
Like wherever you go.
Because before, like a while back, it was just WWE. Like
Yeah.
if you get into wrestling, it's WWE, and then you kind of just go, okay, cool, yeah. And then you obviously find local stuff, which obviously Evan Faye and started getting into wrestling because of the local stuff. It's like that's cool. I like when people say that they got in because of like EPW or STW or whatever company you watched here.
Yeah.
That's cool. But then it's also like now you can look at other companies, whether it's Japan, watch New Japan, Stardom, Tokyo Joshi Pro. I know my shit.
Good.
Don't let me name any more. I've got like 3 more, and that's best I got. Because there's Noah and there's a couple others. But then there's also like England, and then you've got like Progress there, and then you've got some other companies that I forgot the names of. And then you got obviously American Ring of Honor and all those other companies. You had Women of Honor at one point. That was cool. Then they disbanded that. But yeah, it was cool. And then now Harli.
I started watching WWE right as The Rock and Cena were about to finish their feud at their second time round at WrestleMania.
Oh, you mean twice in a lifetime?
Twice in a lifetime match. And I saw it was kind of like the promo that was like a couple of weeks before. It might have been the pay-per-view before. It might have been at the Rumble. I can't remember when. It was when Rock revealed the new championship, the new version, and took away Cena's spinner title.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, because I think it was after he beat Punk at Rumble. It was like, fuck that stupid title, means nothing to me. Toss it out, I'm like, wow, rude.
But yeah, and I watched that promo, and of course I knew who The Rock was, but like I didn't know him in a wrestling capacity, and I just like saw him and Cena. I was like, man, this storytelling is like amazing. But obviously I lived in Bunbury, so we were like 2 hours south of the closest thing of wrestling. So I never really got to experience it, and we didn't have Foxtel. It's just kind of like every now and then when it goes on like the local channels. It wasn't till like I believe it was 2018, I met a friend that just somehow ended up around my university in Morley, Jack Edwards, funnily enough. And we kind of got talking, and we went for like a burger, and we just started hanging out. And he's like, "Oh, I've got like my debut wrestling match, like at this particular show, the infamous ESPW Sweet 16 show."
And the Great Malaga Dome.
Oh god,
Great show.
that was a very interesting show. Asked Jordan Bishop about that one. And yeah, so that was my first ever live wrestling event. And then the next one that I went to was Reawakening, same as Little Miss Maximus over here, with Plague and Street Gang in the street fight. That was my first main event show, like main show.
That's so funny.
Because again, Jack was also wrestling with the
Task Force?
Yeah, that's right.
Douchebag Task Force, along with T-Panay, miss him, against
Not dead.
Chadwick Jackson and the Children.
Oh my god, the children.
So who didn't win? So that was my first main event. It wasn't until probably I then just started going to shows kind of regularly whenever Jack would be on, and I'd go there and I'd support him and get photos and that sort of stuff, and kind of met a few of the guys here and there. And in 2020, it started February 18th of 2020, I went to my first open day.
Before the COVID.
Hayden Zenith absolutely destroyed my legs. I couldn't walk for 2 fucking days. But yeah, and I kind of never looked back, and of course we then had COVID shut down, just think around I think it was like April or May, and I was like, cool, I've done like 3 months of wrestling onto the computer.
That's retirement.
But honestly, it lit a fire under my ass, and every single day I had like these big like foldable mats that I just line up in my house, and I just practice my rolls, practice some bumping on an old mattress, and yeah, we came back and here we are today.
There you go.
A women's champion.
Yeah.
Former.
Unfortunately.
Oops. Sorry.
I'm now a Valkyrie, so.
Yeah. That's gonna be interesting to see how that turns. Ben?
Me?
Yeah. Feels wrong if we're just not gonna answer.
Oh yeah, I guess.
I mean, it's not like any of us really want to hear from you.
But this podcast isn't about us, to be fair.
Honestly, it's never been about us. I will make it about me.
But yeah, I guess what really my first ever introduction to wrestling was SummerSlam 2006, and I remember watching King Booker and Batista for the World Heavyweight Championship. And
underrated is King Booker.
I was just blown away. Like I grew up around it, because my brother and my sister, they were really into it when they were younger. Yeah. And they would be watching it all the time, and I would be coming up and all that stuff. So it was just there's never really been a time in my life where I haven't watched wrestling. So like I remember like being like 4 years old, Undertaker comes out, I'm like running for the hills, I'm terrified of him. Now I'm like, God damn, I love me some Undertaker.
Damn right. Yeah.
But yeah, like SummerSlam 06 for me, like that whole card, like Sabu, rest in peace. Yeah, so many. Like I remember, like one of my first like video packages or whatever was with Cena and Edge, and Cena throws him into the lake and like
after Edge slapped the crap out of him.
Yeah, like Edge like breaks into his home and it's like
he was let in. I will always defend Edge.
Very true. That was his
favourite wrestler.
He was probably like my 15th favourite wrestler.
I'll walk out.
But no, that was awesome for me.
Me, I think, I was like 2009, I was going over to a mate's house and he was like, dude, I'm watching wrestling, you want to come over and watch? I'm like, sure. And it was like, I think my first match I ever watched was like Triple H versus Margo on a SmackDown. It was like on 9, and it was like watching those where they would just give you highlights, and I was watching it, I was like, this is fucking cool. And then I went home, and luckily for me I had Foxtel, so I was like, fuck it, I'm going to watch this. And then I watched it and I was like hooked. Watching like Edge, Jeff Hardy, CM Punk.
Oh.
I was like, let's go. And then I watched and I was like, I want to do this. And then my mum watched a match because she was like, oh, what are you watching? And then she watched Finley get knocked out, get hit with a shay and bleed. Yeah. And she was like, nope, not doing that. You're not doing that. And then I was like, I will. And then I got down the road and I just fell into it again and loved it. And I was like, this is freaking great. And then obviously got my job that I work at now, and then I was like, I got into a very stable part and I was like, I'm gonna go train, and luckily my supervisor was like, yeah, go fucking do it. And had a moment, trained for a second, then stopped, and then about like a year maybe later I came back, obviously met the people I know now, and I'm still training. So and
nice.
Freaking had my first match, God fucking killed. You know who you are. Fucking killed me. And then and I also heard that. Fair. But it was good. It was like, and I also recommend, like, if you're a wrestling fan and you're like, you kind of get into a point of like, oh, I want to kind of do this, go to an EPW.
Do it.
Yeah, do it. Why not?
Because that's what I did. I didn't
be like the Nike slogan. Do it.
Yeah, I didn't go to like an open day or a show, or like I don't fucking do it. I didn't go to like a super show or anything, because I started training just after Elimination Chamber. Yeah. So like I didn't even give it a second thought. I just literally just searched up wrestling school Perth. EPW was top of the list, and I was like, done. It's 15 minutes away from me. Done. Yeah. Sent an email, and then I was training like a couple of weeks later.
Yeah. No. It's really fun to like go and like, especially like at that time when you came in, and even when like Darcy came in, I'd been there for like a year or so, and I was like still training. It's fucking hard. But like watching you guys, like where you've come from, and obviously Darcy, and then obviously even Evelyn Faye, like I'm watching you guys get better. As much as it annoyed me sometimes when you guys were getting better and I wasn't, I felt like I wasn't getting better, but I probably was. And I wanted to kick his in the knee, except that one I'm allowed to kick her in the knee. Knee kind of, knees kind of give out. But it's like watching you guys, I'm like, okay, this is really cool, because then it went from like when I first started, it was like I do still care about myself, but like I went from only caring about like what I wanted to do, and just like I'm gonna train, do myself that piece. and then it went from like, then I obviously met you, and then Evelyn Faye, and then obviously Chili and Crypto and Jay Kendrick and Victor still scares me a bit, but it was like watching these people. He's big and I'm not. But like meeting these people and then being like, okay, now I kind of want you to get to like, I want everyone to get to my level because then I've got people to beat up.
Yeah.
But like I want people to get to the level that we're all at, because then we can all succeed and then we can make this company. Instead of me just going, I want me, and then I'm going to peace out somewhere else.
Yeah.
So now I want this company and EPW and also Perth Wrestling to get fucking great. And it's cool like watching yourself get better, obviously, when you're not pissing off the other countries and leaving me alone with Evelyn Faye.
Only once.
Yeah, once, and it could happen again. But then like obviously watching the progression of Evelyn Faye, which we both watched, amazing.
That's been awesome.
Yeah, she's very proud.
Watching this like, because there was like I think like only 2 or 3 months in between like the group that I came up with, and then like your group, Darcy and Evelyn's, and like even like. Sorry?
I was like, who else is in that group?
I actually don't remember who else was in that group.
I can barely remember what I did last week.
Jackson Swan.
Oh, that
was
little
also in
shit.
that group, I believe.
No, it was
right?
after. It was after.
Was he after?
Yeah, because they had done a grading before.
Oh yeah, no, that's right.
They had done a grading
that's
and
right.
then he
yeah.
came in that little shit.
But yeah, like just watching like how quickly you lot all like just pick up on it.
Annoyed me.
Yeah, and it's like, because I don't think I'm like good or anything in the ring, but like you know, and then I watch like you guys, like you and Evelyn, and like the stuff that you guys are doing, like how fast you guys pick it up, and it's like how you just like, oh, we don't care, we'll just have a crack, like like it's very inspiring. It's very nice to see.
Cool.
I think when it comes to training, you cannot compare yourself to the people next to you, because it is just damaging. And from my own personal experience, I've seen people fly past me in a matter of 6 months when I've been working my ass off for 3 years to get as good as I am, to get to where I am, whether it be because they've got connections with trainers or people that are higher up in ranking of wrestling, or whether they've just got amazing natural athleticism.
Jagger.
Like,
sorry.
yeah, exactly.
Sorry, I had a
that
cough
dickhead.
there. Sorry, I had a cough.
They just come in, they're already built like brick shit houses, and they come in, and because they can do a couple of flips and they can scream really loud, they just rocket to stardom because someone has a heart on for them, you know?
But I also think that sometimes it's it depends what people want out of wrestling, and like it's again not comparing because people have different goals and different work ethics. Some people want to make a career out of wrestling. They want to push and push and push, and some people are there for fitness. Some people are there just because it's a cool hobby, and so I guess you get out what you put in. If you're putting in, to me there's not a direct correlation of like you train 5 days a week, you're going to be on a show in 6 months. Because everyone is different, and some people come in with like look at Manu, and he has like a rugby background, and so if there was some skills that he could just pick up like that. And some people, I feel like I came in with a dancing background, so when it came to a lot of footwork stuff, I could do that part with ease. Whereas people in my training group, some of them had 2 left feet, and so some people have different skills than other. And I think I liked the way that I came up, where there was a group of us and we all trained consistently 3 days a week for a year. And it was only after a whole year of 3 days a week consistently that we were considered for that Sweet 16 show. And so I think
someone send it to me.
People who have a group and they train consistently, I think with that group, I think tend to skyrocket more because they get so comfortable with the people around them and they all help each other out that they do get to be able to push faster and quicker. And I've always said that correlation. When I think we see now with like open days where you say that your group and your group and your group and people you come up with, if you train with them consistently, then you're I think more likely to get to where you want to be faster.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. Did you want to add anything?
No, I was just saying everyone's on their own individual journey, and like everyone's at different ages, different you know, experience, and
100%.
Never compare your never compare like your starting point to someone's middle point, or you know, like
100%.
everyone's different. Everyone is completely different personalities, you know, like it took me a long time to come out my shell at wrestling. I was very quiet and shy for a long time. Maybe it was just because I was younger and I was intimidated by all the adults. But yeah, I just say never compare yourself. It can be difficult, but yeah.
And I think everyone definitely goes through that phase of like, why am I not getting this? Why am I not getting that? I'm working like. I think for the first year and a half of training, this is when we had the 2 schools for EPW. We had one up in Malaga and we had one down in Maddington, and that's where I lived. And I would go to at least 2 like beginner sessions a week, and I would go and watch Don's class, and I would go and watch Dave Storm's classes, so I could sit there and pay attention and watch and learn. And then I'd always do like a Saturday or a Sunday session when that were on, whether that be with Dave, whether that be with Jay Taylor, whether it be with Zenith, whoever it was. I was killing myself, and I'm like, why am I not getting seen? Why am I not getting that, not gratification, but why are people not seeing how hard I'm working and give me a chance? And I feel like everybody goes through that at one point or another because of how hard they think they're working. And sometimes it's not about how hard you work, it's not about how hard you don't work. It doesn't matter who you're friends with or this, that and the other. If your character or your style is not right for what they want on a card, you're just not going to get booked. Like, that's the sad fact of it. Wrestling is all about who's going to be against who, what's going to be a good style, what is what the people want to watch.
And they're always saying that like the show is the most important part, and that you need people for that show. I've always been very big on where we say that like, why is there no women's matches on some of these shows? And I've always been big on like I like to think of it as like forced diversity, where it's then you just pick women to put on a show because we need to put women on the show. And I don't think it should ever be that we need to put women on the show just to tick a box. I think that like you want to put a show on, and what's going to get people to come watch this show. And that it just might not be the right time or the right moment for those things. I would rather not feel like they've just put me on a show to be like, we need a woman on the show, you can be that, off you go. I never want to feel like that's the reason I've been put on a show. I want to be on a show because I'm good enough to be on a show, or I'm going to serve a bigger purpose than just, you guys want a women's match, here's a women's match. I don't ever want to feel like that in wrestling.
100%. Yeah, that makes a valid point, because if you look at EPW hasn't done it yet, but like, if you look at what MCW and PWA, in the sense of like their last show they did was obviously Chevs and Troy. It was like, that wasn't them just putting them on the show to tick that box and be like, we've got a women's match, be happy.
They put it on there because that's what people wanted to see.
And they made that the main event because everyone was like hyped for that, to the point me and Kelly Cole were talking like months before, going, bro, let's go, this match is going to be great.
When you look at Perth wrestling now, like, who are your biggest people that people want to see wrestle? They want to see Marcus Pitt. They want to see the Poles. They want to see these guys that have been in the industry for years because they are amazingly talented. They want to come and see a show where the Don's on because they want to boo him. They don't like him. They know they can get under his skin.
I mean, no, I don't. Not at all. I don't know what I'm talking about.
You know,
well done, mate.
People either want to come and watch someone because they love them, or they want to come watch someone to get their ass kicked. You know, and I can't believe words coming out of my mouth. I agree with Stella. I don't want to be put on a card just to tick a box. I want to be put on the card because the bookers have faith in me and the crowd wants to see what I'm going to produce. And that's why I think like my current feud that I'm having with Chili.
Well, I was about to say something nice.
Is like, people love Chili.
Yeah.
For one reason or another.
And I think like you know, like strangely enough, you know better than anyone else how to actually like get the best out of her in terms of like storytelling on the mic, getting her under her skin, getting the best out of her in a match. It's like
definitely gets under her skin. Definitely gets under her skin. Yeah, because even if you look at like MCW with I think current champion is Eugenie from Brisbane, but like her and Erica Reid, freaking awesome matches. But it's like, because the story matters, and also they're not put on MCW shows because again they're taking the box to be like, you guys want a women's match? Here, can I have one? Yeah. But it's like, no, she's good, that one's good. You guys want to see this match? Every match, especially now, I'm seeing more in Australian wrestling. women's matches aren't just put in to be like, cool, have a match.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like
They've worked hard.
yeah, and also because
exactly.
fans are like, we want to see this match,
Build the investment.
and it's like, oh, you want to see this match? Well, okay, we can't like not have this match now because fans want to see it. We have to get this match, and then they get it back in the sense of fans watching, in the sense of like, you know, even your two little rivalry you've got going on, which is why you are nowhere near each other. It's like people want to see this. People will come to whenever you guys wrestle again. But even like last show, people would come to that came there to watch Lizzie beat Stella.
I mean, yeah, I did beat Stella, didn't I? With great thanks to my cousin,
that
James
one there.
Hartness.
East London
East
Ultraviolence.
London. He was
The dog.
Yeah, thank you,
Woof,
Mr. Hartness,
woof,
for
woof, woof.
helping me out, and I think we worked well together. We were clearly the better team, and like I can't wait just to prove my point again to her because, you know.
Stella.
Oh.
Stella, sit down.
Wanna go right now?
Sit down, you bloody
You wanna go right now?
I could.
Huh?
Alright.
Huh? You wanna fight?
Yeah,
Wanna
I'll
fight
fight.
again?
Stella, down.
I mean,
Sit.
I want a
Stella.
ring. I mean, is this dude where's my ring? It could be.
Stella.
I'd be happy.
Sit
Dude,
down.
I love your stuff.
Yeah, dude.
I mean-
sit down.
Yeah.
Please sit down. I had to stand up for them.
Chill out.
I mean, I've proven myself.
Please don't do it.
I'd say I'd proved myself quite clearly to the ESPW fans that you know, I am the better women's wrestler out of the two of us. Because last time I checked, when I wrestled you, I beat you fair and square.
Well, let's quickly move on because this young said, well, I started that 100%. I instigated all I am.
Wait, what do the ESPW fans want? If you were fans, would you want me and Stella to wrestle again?
Oh, 100%.
100%.
I think so.
I think my...
Well, I've faced and beaten every woman we've got at EPW except you. We haven't had a singles match.
You know,
I've beaten you in tag competition, but that was easy because your moron of a friend decided to jump in front of a chair.
But you didn't hit me.
I still
Didn't hit me. Harley, let's give. I mean, if the fans want it, I can't see why we can't fight.
Okay.
I can take you.
Now, I mean this
so.
in the nicest way possible.
May the best woman win,
I mean
I
this.
will.
and that goes for you too.
Okay.
She did.
Now, I don't want to have to say we have to do this again because we can't because it's a little late now. But like, I don't have to start doing things where we have to start saying no contact on the spot like we did in Northern, which went fucking down the goddamn tube.
Because it seems like every time we say something like that, the reverse happens.
Yeah, this is why I can't have nice things.
We say that we're not going to take another month off, and then we take
And
another
we take a
month
month
off.
off. We
and
say there's no contact on a podcast, and all of a sudden that one's gonna hit that one.
All of a sudden there's physical contact.
Yep, and there's gonna be fucking physical contact.
Hey,
so I
look,
can just feel
I've
the
been-
pain.
Hey, look, I've been working hard. I've been at the studio. I've been at the wrestling school. I've been, you know, I've been putting in the work. I want to prove myself again. I've been in the gym working on my fitness. Hell yeah, baby. And you know what?
Okay.
Alright.
Okay, let's get this back on the road.
Yeah.
'Cause fuck me. Okay, let's move on, shall we? Ben, what are we going to talk about? Someone, please, anything to move on. And preferably not the last ESPW show, because that's not going to end well for me.
What about dream matches?
Ooh,
that's-
thank you for saving our lives.
That was going to take
Because
me
I
a while.
have nothing.
I love that
let's
because
do
I
it.
had nothing either.
Let's
start
with Harley.
Yeah, let's start with Harley because
Let's go
that one needs
male
to calm
and
down.
female. So
Yeah, let's do it.
when I started wrestling,
Stop
I
pounding yourself.
always wanted to face Felix Young, and I've gotten to do that. I would love to have another go around with him, but someone that I have not worked with or against is someone that hopefully I get to before he retires, is Marcus Pitt.
Ooh.
In terms of male opponent, Marcus Pitt all the way. I've worked with Jay Taylor, I've worked with Zenith a couple of times. I've gotten to work and learn alongside Chadwick, even though he's disappeared off to God knows where.
You really should keep track of him more.
In terms of women's wrestlers, I am going to stay a little bit more within Australia. Someone that I have had interactions with in the past, and so is Miss Nyx. Rochelle Rogue.
Ooh.
I remember she came
You get
over here
wrestling.
when I was still refereeing for STW, and she was quite rude to me.
Ooh.
Well, there
She
you
just
go.
kind of poofed me out of my place and tried to intimidate me in the ring, and now that tables are a little bit more turned, I want to see a little gamer girl come over here so I can beat her ass.
I want to see that match.
I would
get
love
the
to
wrestling.
see,
Let's go.
to see all those matches.
I would too. Is he?
Rumour has it she might be coming over for EPW's winter camp.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Little rumour. Oh, little rumour.
You know. Anywho, Lizzie, please don't.
I'm gonna keep this within Australia too. I think there's just a big list of international wrestlers that I would like to wrestle, and I could be here all day. So within Australia, I would say Charlie Evans, Chevs, and Jessica Troy.
Nice. Got me.
They're
Got me on the show.
at the moment, I want to wrestle them.
Level.
They're so experienced that I just could learn so much, I think. Within Perth, it's so difficult. But one of mine has always been Don. And
What?
I mean, I could take him on.
Don will beat your ass.
I mean, he's a big guy, but he's a big guy, but like.
He's snap you like a twig, but
No.
sure.
I mean, I'm pretty fast. I can avoid him.
I'm not just getting now.
He can beat you.
What?
Honestly, there's many in
Let's get the
EPW.
big
A lot
dog
of anyone who's trained me, to be honest, I would happily take on. But yeah, obviously Felix Young. Well, there's two. Michelle K. Haslott, dream opponent. Just has been there since the beginning. But yeah, maybe. Who knows? What about Darcy?
Yeah, Darcy.
Obvious answer would be Sasha Mercedes.
Nice.
However, Australian wrestler would be Lena Cross.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's a
And
good
Lena
one.
Cross.
Yes.
Phenom.
I think male opponent, I would say, of course, James Hartness or Felix Young.
Nice.
Stella, when you're done pouting.
So I've had a lot of matches in my time, and I think I've ticked off I think I've had something like over 150 matches at this point.
Damn.
Wow.
And
Shit.
I've faced everybody at some point. But I think I have to agree with Harli Hyde. Someone who I've never actually faced in the ring would be Marcus Pitt. He would definitely be one at the top of my list. I'd love to face James Hartness again. Fun fact is I had his first ever match. Even though he looked not right, I did beat him 1-2-3 on his first ever match. But I don't think we've actually faced each other since then. When we had at the ESPW show, when I tagged with Target versus Lizzie Hartness, I don't think me and Hartness got in the ring at all together. I didn't get a chance to lay my hands
She's
on
got
her.
avoidant.
So,
That's her style. She likes to avoid people
never.
that she's scared of.
never.
I'd be scared
In
of
terms
violence.
of like women's matches, again, I faced a lot of people for lots of different matches. I've had like a triple threat I had in Newcastle Pro Wrestling. I've had matches at FWA in Sydney, even a lot of matches I had at STW. I'd love to be able to face, I think, Jessica Troy in a singles. I did face her in a triple threat. And that was years and years and years ago, and seeing how much she's grown since then, that'd be a really cool match to have. But someone who I've always loved, and I would love to get a chance to get in the ring with her, would be Kingsley.
Yes.
I don't think she's currently in Australia anymore.
I think she's in Canada.
Yeah, I think she went to Canada, but when I first met her, just her style, the way she moved in the ring, like I'd love to face her one day.
Yeah. Backside girls. Okay. Love me some backside girls.
Do you want to say yours?
Yeah. I was just thinking because I was like, I have a few. Guys, definitely want to fight Don. He'll murder me.
He will.
But it's okay. I'm okay with that.
1, 2, 3, done.
Okay, well, let's not say 1, 2, 3. No, I have a might win.
You last longer than Crypto did.
Probably. Definitely Hayden Zenith. Would love to wrestle him. He will put me into a pretzel, and I will tap out.
If you hit him in the face with a title belt, it tends to work very well.
I'll keep that in mind.
There you go.
But if Hayden's watching this, I didn't say that. Definitely Robbie Eagles would be cool. That'd be fun.
He's awesome.
obviously, when he's totally not very, very violent, but the violent dog, James Hartnett's would be great. When he murders me. Because he will murder me. I think on the girls' side, he just seems right to say, is Charlie Evans and Jessica Troy.
Yeah.
Because Charlie would kill me, and I'm okay with it.
I'd love a death match with Chubs.
That would be awesome.
Let's go. Make it happen. Dude, make it happen.
Yeah.
And then, just wrestling the Granola Grappler and seeing her beat the crap out of me, and I win.
Nice.
That'd be cool.
Nice. Me? I'd say in terms of the blokes, easy answer.
Yeah.
The GOAT, James Hartnett. That's absolutely my personal dream match.
That one's always coming for you.
That's one. Yeah, that's one thing on my bucket list of things I want to do in wrestling.
That could very much so happen.
In terms of the women, I'm gonna say Lena Cross as well.
Yeah.
Darcy, no, she's awesome.
So
She's
she's amazing.
yeah, she's wicked. So I would say those two would be my
James Hartnett,
my top
Lena
two.
Cross. Not bad. They're not bad ones at all. I think I'll play a game.
Sure. Let's do a little game.
Let's do a game because I don't fucking know what I'm talking
Do a
about.
little game and then
We'll
stop wasting all your time.
Yeah, and hope it happens. Because boys get heated.
What quick little game can we?
Let's play a little bit of agree and disagree.
Ooh.
So, you guys will. So I will say something. So I'm not going to play this division.
Yeah.
Step the fuck out because I'm going to think of it off the top of my head.
Yeah.
And you guys are going to say you agree or you disagree. I do not have time to write cards, so you're just going to have to say them. And then it's going to be about women's wrestling. So hope for the best. See if I remember things.
Yeah.
Okay. This era of women's wrestling is the best it's ever been.
This current one?
Yes, current era that we're in.
Yeah,
not
I
just
agree.
like WWE.
I'd agree.
Absolutely.
I'd agree.
Agree.
You all agree. That would be really fun. No, I disagree. Fuck you. Okay. Chebs right now is the best women's wrestler in Australia.
In Australia? Oh yeah, I agree.
This is where I think it's going to hurt me because the three that who are.
It depends in what terms you're speaking about because there's all sorts of different levels of wrestlers. Chebs is one of the few women that is around like the hardcore deathmatch sort of scene.
I'm saying.
Do I think she's one of the most entertaining female wrestlers in Australia at the moment? Yes. Do I think she's the best technical wrestler? I don't think so. I think Jessica's got a...
Yeah. I think
few
more in the
points
way of
above
like
her.
if she's on a show, fans want to come watch.
Yes.
That's what I mean.
Absolutely. I'd agree with that.
Agree?
Yeah, I agree.
I am mutual. I can't because you can't compare people.
Pick a side, Switzerland.
God damn it!
You can't compare people, so
Pick a-
no.
Damn it.
Kev's is
Darcy,
my idol.
boy.
You sit in the middle again. I'm pushing you off the fence.
Yeah, do it.
Not you.
I'll kick her
I'm
off.
probably similar.
Dang it.
Yeah,
God,
yeah.
get up.
I can't.
Burn
I'm
bridges, God, I do it.
No, it's alright.
Look, I'm only the same. I can't pick one either because wrestling is so subjective, and it depends also which context. Like you put Chevs in a death match, and like hands down, I want to see that.
What about
Seeing her in a normal match, I feel like there's other people that I would potentially want to see more than her. That's not saying that I don't want to see her, but I think wrestling is so subjective, and saying yes or no doesn't quantify what you actually think. So I'm sorry there, but that one there is a very neutral response on his end.
That's how you fence it.
Yeah, and you don't have any way to fucking check that second fence.
No,
Sorry,
I like that
more
answer.
about the context of your question.
Yeah.
Well, I gave the context, which is in the sense of fans want, if she's on the show, fans will want to come see, like we have do.
But there's personally, I don't, and I don't think many people do, especially in Perth, go to a show to see one wrestler. I don't think anyone's buying a ticket just because, Marcus Pitt is EPW champion, they want to see him in a ladder match. No, I don't think he is the direct draw. I think people want to see lots of different wrestlers for lots of different reasons. And so I still stand by that no one in Perth by themselves is a draw. Like,
unless it's for like family.
yeah, I definitely think family and your friends have a reason to go. But yeah, your casual fan who has no direct connection to any of the wrestlers on the card, I don't think they're only going to a show to watch one person. I think they're going to watch the show because they like local wrestling. I feel like maybe there's some people with like WWE or something might want to go for that one person. But even still, I think nowadays they don't. There are so many wrestlers that I don't think one person themselves is a draw.
That's fair.
No, that's
And that's how you
that's a really good point.
And that's how you fence it, kids. It's a very good fence sitting. Without me having to throw you off the
You
fence.
make a really good politician.
Yeah, it's great. It's like you've
Thank
learnt.
you.
It's like you've learnt from Don and Target.
Full of shit around.
How do you know that they haven't learned from me?
Because Don and Target were pretty good at talking around questions. At least I've talked to them.
I taught those boys very well.
Really?
There you go.
Yeah. Okay. Agree or disagree? Io Sky is the best all-around performer in WWE, like in the women's division. And this one's more just to annoy you because I know everyone's going to disagree with it.
I actually am going to disagree here, purely because the key word you said there was all around, and I think like
that encompasses like your character,
yeah,
your moveset,
like your
ability
mic
to
work,
the plans,
like yeah, all that sort of stuff. And although
Io screaming in Japanese doesn't count.
Yeah, and like she's good on the mic, and I think her character work is actually really good. But I think someone like Rhea is a lot better on the mic than her. Becky is so much better on the mic than her. Like people like you know there's levels to this game.
Yeah.
You know like so I think in terms of pure like all round, no. Disagree.
I'll sit on that side of the fence.
Fantastic. You gonna sit on the side of the fence or on the fence?
On the fence.
Damn it!
We should do it so it's like a one-word answer, agree or disagree.
Let me get Luther on the podcast.
Do we need to get Luther on the podcast?
Oh, that would be so much fun.
I don't want Luther. We've had too much to do with Luther. We've had to do with too much. Darcy, you should sit on the fence, or you know.
Sit on the fence.
Damn it! We're people sitting on the goddamn fence.
We gotta get him.
I know. I gotta figure out something.
I feel like say to me, agree or disagree for if you think a wrestler is a good performer or a good overall. Again, there's so many layers to that I don't think you can just give an agree or a disagree for. If it's something like, do I like the women's championship belt? I could give an answer on that, yes or no. But I think knowing if you like a wrestler, it depends. Are we talking about right this second? Are we talking about where they were like a year ago? Like wrestling is constantly changing, and my reasons for liking wrestlers are constantly changing. Like what they do, they could have a bad week. It could, and if that's the thing that's stuck in my mind, then I might say that they're a bad performer. But it could just be a bad week. So I don't think you can ever really say yes or no to a wrestler's ability. I think it's constantly changing and evolving, and yeah.
You really should do a seminar on how good this is, because that's you go.
I think the reason I could easily disagree is just based on my personal likes. Like, I went through a period when I was like right at the beginning of my training. I went through and watched every single one of Rhea's matches that was on the WWE network. I wouldn't have done that for Io. It's someone that I much enjoy watching, and if I see that Rhea's having a random match on Raw, I'll go and watch it. If I see Io, if it's a good match and I hear good about it, I'll go watch it.
It's not that you're not watching just like her. And yeah, I agree. I think I would prefer to watch like a Rhea Ripley match over an Io Sky match. But it just depends. There's so many different reasons why I would be engaged in watching something.
Well, this game went down the tubes. I didn't play it. I expected.
If I'm watching to
so
learn
much more
how to
fighting.
do a new sort of move, or I really like a combination, that's what I go back and watch those specific bits and pieces for. Sometimes there's things that Io does better than a lot of people. Like if I want to learn how to do a moonsault, I'm probably going to go and watch Io before I go and watch another wrestler, because I know she does them phenomenally. If I want to watch how to do an awesome fucking headbutt, I'm going to go watch Rhea, you know?
Absolutely.
Or any Samoan. Any Samoan.
Just take your pick.
Yeah, preferably Umaga. One. He doesn't get much love, and he should. Well, on this, because I've thought of something, and I'm smart sometimes. Not really. Don't laugh either. That was rude. But fair, because I'm not.
You invited me,
I did invite you. I'm really starting to regret it, but more this side I'm regretting. It's going to end badly. What is your overall thoughts for like the future of Australian women's wrestling? Like, what do you guys think can happen, or you hope happen, or will happen?
I find that it's like, I think we're in a good period right now. I think where there's so many good women's wrestlers around the country, and I think everyone's pushing each other to be better. As I said, if you're getting, it's no longer being booked as just let's throw the women on the card. I think with a lot of promotions, they're building stories with the women. And I think that's just overall pushing the growth of wrestling. It's pushing everyone to be better storytellers, better physical action. Like, I think personally, stories drive wrestling. Like, the moves don't matter as much as the story does. And I think I see this push now across the country with giving more stories. And I ultimately think if that's the direction we're going to keep going, I think that's good for everyone. I think seeing women in the main event, like PWA, where you had 2 women in the main event, I think if that's the direction we're going to keep heading, I think it's going to be, continue to grow in Australian wrestling. Hearing that, like, having the big WWE events come to Perth and having Rhea Ripley be like a headliner within that, I think is also helping a lot, because people are seeing that and then hopefully translate to a local level too.
Yeah.
I think women's wrestling is going to get bigger and better from now on. Like, I think since the WWE has come here and they're obviously coming back again, I think it's only going to make more girls want to try it out. And so then we're going to have more women on the scene, and
Nice. And yes, if you're going to train, go to DPW School of Pro Wrestling.
There you go.
Yeah. Little plug. I don't know. Lizzie?
I think it was always important to recognise women's wrestling. However, I think after Elimination Chamber, having Nia Jax and Rhea in the main event really put more of a, there was more of a spotlight on it, especially in Australia and in Perth too. So I think if there's any time for like women's wrestling to be pushed, it's now. And I think everyone should have equal opportunity. I think it's about equality. I don't think it's I think everyone should be pushed. But I think right now there is such a time, there's more women trainees than there's ever been, and things like that, and I think there's more opportunity than there ever was. So I just think if there's a time to watch it, it's now. If there's a time to push for it, it's now. And that's all I can say right now.
Nice.
Women's wrestling is difficult to talk about, where could it go or where do we want it to go. I just don't want the women to be seen as women. I feel like a lot of girls that have started coming through over these last few years, they're very timid, they're very shy. I think Chili's probably a big exception.
She definitely timid or shy.
And I think it's what a lot of the girls probably struggled with coming into this industry that is male dominated and that is around a lot of big buff guys, big tall guys, and guys that just have amazing character work. And when the women come through, they get a little bit intimidated by that. I just want the girls that are training to be able to push past their limits. As Slats always says, be comfortable in the uncomfortable. Don't sit where you think you should be. Push past that. I love the old saying, a well-behaved woman what's the phrase? A well-behaved woman rarely makes history. And that's where, over the last couple of years, seeing people like myself, like Stella, like Chili, like Layla, like Lizzie, we're not sticking to the status quo of what wrestling for women is. We're pushing past the new boundaries. We're pushing past expectations of what has come before us. And especially now with all the amazing talent that's over in the Eastern States, being so isolated, we have to push past that barrier. We have to be more, we have to be bigger. And I just want women to have the same sort of equal treatment and equal opportunities as the male wrestlers. But that also means we just have to work as hard as the guys in this industry. So I want to be able to, a lot of people are really 50-50 about this. I want to see more intergender matches. There's obviously putting someone like an Evelyn Faye up against someone like a Blake Walker. Obviously, that match is That match is not going to come across well to a fan base because they're going to see a big, massive dude kicking the shit out of someone less than half his height.
I was going to say Evelyn Faye body slamming Walker and beating him 1, 2, 3, but hey, whatever you want to go.
I mean, my debut I kicked his ass. So.
In the right situations, there are women that can face men in this industry. Me facing Felix Young, it's not something that you really would see very often.
That's what we deserve.
Yeah, like I think some of the guys want to verse some of the girls just as much as the girls want to wrestle the guys. Like my top 5 list of wrestlers that I've ever wanted to work with have all been guys because they just have this vivacious personality about them and they have all this ability that I want to be able to have. And when guys like Marcus Pitt, Dave Storm, Damian Slater, when those guys start to get to the point of thinking of retiring, there's people that are going to have to fill those roles. I'm not saying I'm going to be the next Marcus Pitt or anything like that. I don't think that'll ever happen. No one can be Marcus Pitt.
No, he's a different breed.
Eventually, there will be people that need to take over the torch. And that's going to be guys like James Hartness. That's going to be guys like Felix Young. God save us all, Taylor King. But eventually that is also going to pass, and in 10 years' time, I want there to be a strong female representation in this industry. Like Michelle Hasluck has been in the game 20 plus years. She might not have wrestled all those 20 years, but if you say female wrestling 15, 20 years ago, everyone knows who Michelle Hasluck is.
And she'd definitely have like some stories of like what it was like around that time.
Oh, absolutely. I've heard stories from her.
Fuck, happy on the pod.
I've heard stories from Michelle how like it was a very different industry for what it is now. Like shit that happened back then would not fly nowadays. And we can all just say, oh, that was back then, that was a different time. But it's never like the right thing to say. Like, it was shit. People were being absolute assholes back in the day towards not just the women but everyone in general. Whereas I feel as much as we all don't, none of us all like each other. We're not wrestling is dysfunctional family. We don't all love each other, we don't all like each other, but we all have some minuscule at least resemblance of respect for one another for why we're here and what we're doing.
100%.
You know?
I think
I just hope that builds across brands, whether you're only working in STW or only working on EPW or you're only beginning on shows that you've been here for 15 years. For me that's the big thing about wrestling is having respect for one another, even if you don't like each other.
I think that's such a big thing in wrestling in general is having that ability to sort of just disassociate, I guess, and just be like, oh hey, I may not like you and you may not like me, but let's put that aside and give the fans a good fucking show. Like, you know what I mean?
Like I do not like Chile. I do not like Layla Divine. Do I have respect for them stepping up to the plate and wanting to take me on? Fuck yeah, I do.
100%.
It's not a respect of like, I appreciate you as a human being. It's like, thank you for giving me a fight. Thank you for giving me something to work with.
No, I like that. I think that is pretty much what it is. It's making sure, like, you know, everyone at the end of the day is treated with respect. Whether you're a guy, girl, or he, she, they, or them.
Exactly.
You're treated with respect.
Regardless of like your gender or like whatever. Just gotta treat people with ounce of respect.
Because like, think about this. Like, at the end of the day, like if we walked into like ESPW and they're like, oh hey Jared, you're facing Darcy Jade. Yes. I'm winning. That's all that's happening. I don't care what the rest of the match is for me. I'm winning. Canadian. Anywho, but like I'd be like, let's go. Let's go. Instead of being like, oh god, really? Why? Find somebody else. But it's like, it's those moments of like, you go to a show and you're not going to be like, someone's going to walk in and be like, hey, you're wrestling this person. Or like, Ben, you're wrestling Stella. Sorry. You're losing. Fine. But it's like, you're not going to walk in and be like, oh, do I have to? Like,
No,
any
exactly.
dudes that can wrestle instead? It's like, no, you're gonna be like, okay, cool, easy. Where is she? Where's Stella?
Yeah.
Let's go talk about that.
Yeah.
You're not gonna be like,
100%.
you're not gonna be like, oh, really? Do I
Yeah.
need to? Or you
can think it and just not say it.
Yeah, but preferably don't think it and don't say it.
Probably just have a good heart.
Yeah, preferably don't be a dick. That's gotta be real.
Every time someone says, cool, you're going to have a match with this person, I'm like, cool, that's just one more person I get to fuck up.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
There you go.
Yeah.
But just to take it back real quick to what you said, Harley, about the intimidation factor,
Which he has.
which I find, not funny, but like for me, right? When I first started training, I was more intimidated by you than like
I think that's what
90% of the dudes, like which are like, because I think we've trained probably once together. And you gave me one forearm, and I was like, "Fuck, that's the hardest I've been hit."
She's giving you one forearm. She's giving me multiple.
I don't remember the rest.
Well, you stand there
Like
and
me
you
for a
say,
monkey.
yeah, you can chop me, you can hit me.
Well, yeah.
You really think I'm going to pass that belt?
Yeah,
No,
absolutely.
Everyone else does it too. I don't care.
It's I love that shit. So it's like,
Making it tougher.
yeah, like it's awesome. I think because I feel like for me, coming in, like I was intimidated by so many people, but all of the people that I felt intimidated by, all of you were like, nah, just like come on, have a crack at it. Like we'll wrestle a little bit.
Yeah.
We'll go. Like the other day at training, I was just sitting there talking to you.
Yeah.
And Hayden Zenith just grabbed me and was like, come on, let's train.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
That's
I was like, I've been an arm ringing out.
And he says,
randomly
turn
kicks
this
me,
way
so-
so he can
Yeah.
put you into another fucking hole.
Yeah.
Or he just randomly comes up to you and just boot you.
Yeah.
And you're like, what? But you're a good
Yeah.
worker, so you sell that shit.
Yeah.
Or he
exactly.
just actually kicks you and you're like,
Yeah.
ow.
So yeah, I think that like the school at EPW especially has just been like,
It's good.
fucking awesome, man, for me. Like
Training has its ups and downs.
yeah, exactly.
it does.
Some days you'll go in and
Yeah.
you'll just have the shittest day and you'll
Yeah.
come out of it thinking you are the world's worst wrestler.
100%.
And other
Been
days
there.
you'll come out of it being like,
Many
fuck
times.
yeah, I fucking smashed that session tonight.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes.
I think it's important to have like the
Gotta
type
have
of
a
the
mindset.
type of people
Yeah.
that we have around.
No, you
the
gotta have
school
people that will help you
that
out
are
in that situation.
always there to say like, hey, no, fucking pick yourself up. You're better than that. You're better than what you think you are. Like,
Exactly.
and all that shit. Like,
Some people will listen to it.
some
Yeah.
people listen to it. Some
Sometimes
people
you just-
say it more than others. But
Yeah,
like,
sometimes you just like, again, that was something I experienced a lot very early on, even into just before I started on shows. Like, it doesn't. Sometimes you just have to sit with that feeling and just let it be there, and then just pick yourself up and go the next day.
yeah, exactly.
Because on that, that's actually.
You can't wallow in self pity when it comes to training, because none of us are there because we already know the shit that we're doing. Like, some days you'll go in and you'll get hurt, or someone else will get hurt, or you'll be the reason someone got hurt. Like, you just gotta take every day as it comes when it comes to training, and take it, learn from it, and use it next time.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry guys, can we wrap this up because I really need to get home. I've got
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, no.
dying.
I really need to get home.
No, we absolutely do.
Yeah,
do
we
that,
can.
so we've been gone for a while.
Yeah, but I can't even see the time.
Yeah.
We're gonna cut it and just say
Amen.
things.
Bless
Sorry,
you.
I'm allergic to time wasting.
Rude. Okay, I was
You
gonna
must
say.
hate football.
Yeah, you must hate football. Both footballs.
Boring as batch.
Real football.
Either one. It's both time wasting.
Dockers.
Anyway.
Are you gonna cut it and then just go back?
Yeah, we might, depending on if that
Yeah.
does anything. Anyway, that is all.
Yeah.
Please go follow Stella at
Stella Nyx _ on socials.
there you go, and go follow Lizzie at
Lizzie Maximus .pw on socials.
go follow Harli Hyde at
Harli _Hyde PW.
underscores and go follow us at Mat Manifesto and,
Yeah.
and Darcy hasn't got one yet, so
She will get one.
she'll get
Yeah,
one.
she'll
But
get one
when
soon.
she does, we'll put it there.
It'll be added to our long
Yeah,
list
when she
of-
gets one, who knows?
Our long
List,
document
yeah.
of Instagram pages.
Our manifesto.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Doesn't sound great.
But yeah, thank you very much
Yeah,
for watching,
thank you.
guys.
Yes,
Thank you
and
very much for listening.
Thank you, Harley. Thank you, Lizzie. Thank you,
yeah,
Darcy.
thank-
Thank you, Stella, even though she
Yeah.
nearly started something.
Thank you all very much
Yeah.
for coming on. We really
Thank you all.
appreciate you giving us your time.
Yes.
Giving us a nice perspective on the landscape of women's wrestling. We
Yeah.
really appreciate it.
And to finish up, should we do our thing? Because I was going to make Evelyn do this one. See if she actually remembers what we did.
Yeah, let's do it.
But yes, so do your thing.
If you are watching on YouTube, please like, please comment, please subscribe and turn on that notification bell. And if you're listening on Spotify, please rate us 5 stars.
Like Dave Meltzer watching Will us.
And give us a follow.
Yes.
Or don't.
Just
don't listen to her. Don't listen to her. Follow. Follow. We need it.
Yeah.
We need all the help we can get. But if you are, as always, in Australia, Melbourne, anywhere in the world, I'm going to cut my shit short.
Yeah.
So I don't want her to get a hammer. Go watch pro wrestling. Go support local wrestling. Go support local wrestlers. Buy their merch is pretty much what I'm trying to say. And then go support them. Go love your wrestling companies. And go support us because we're amazing. And that is all because I've got nothing else to say because I've got nothing to bully Evelyn Faye about. So she's not here to do it. So here we go and we're done.
Perfect.
That's terrible.
I know.